Hi, and welcome to Tarot Time. Happy Sunday morning if you're here live. And those of you that are watching as a video, hang in there. We'll start in just a couple of minutes. So in Tarot Time, we do a meditation card for the week, a 3-card spread to pick up on the energies, things that may be happening in your life or the world around us. And then I have other divination tools. A lot of the information is also directly channeled that comes through, even when I'm working with the cards. So we'll talk a little bit about current events. There's a lot going on. As I had said in my October psychic forecast, this is going to be a much more energetic, volatile, if that's the word, changeable month than September was. More like July and August were energetically in a way. And we got the month started off with a nice solar flare. The coronal mass ejections hitting now. I suspect if I'd stayed up till the wee hours of the morning, I might have caught some northern lights. Nothing last night after sunset. I didn't wake up. But anyway, I'm just going to say a few quick hellos and we're going to get started for those that are here as a video. So, hey, Claire. Hi, Blindly Inspired. Hi, Mr. Floyd's Universe and MDR and Chris and Lisa and Lisa. Welcome, Suzette. Happy birthday, Claire. Cool. Hi, Brooke. Anybody miss? Hi, Yvonne. Jody, if I didn't mention you earlier, hi. All right, you guys have been having. I'm not that late. I'm only a couple minutes late. You guys have been having quite a conversation. Looks like Michael's in. Hi, Michael. Often the first one in. So the gang's all here. Very good. Very good. So obviously weather's on a lot of people's minds and the conjecture of what really happened with Helene. And I wanted to address that for a minute. I'm not the one that's so into conspiracy theories, but I am into conspiracy facts. I'll just kind of leave it at that. And yes, I loved X-Files. And yes, even as early as the 1970s, I was studying conspiracies and government stuff and conspiracy theories, thanks to my martial arts teacher. Point being is that there's a lot of conjecture based on how the storm behaved. That would be Helene, how it dumped so much rain in one area and all that stuff. And, as a medium, I came into all this through science and I studied meteorology in college. That was my major and everything. I'll tell people before, you assume that your flickering light is a spirit. Make sure your wires are secure, right? So I just wanted to be almost like the devil's advocate in a way of those that are jumping into the conspiracy bandwagon for the storm. That said, weather modification is real. You can go onto the government page and find out a lot about cloud seeding. I mean, you can't find everything. A lot of it's classified information. But the point being is that, yes, they do modify the weather. It's becoming more and more out in the open. And this is yet another suspicious event, right? So one suspicious event, all right, two suspicious events. Yeah, you get a whole slew of them, one right after the other. Then you can start to think, okay, maybe there really is some grand plan going on and some manipulation of nature in order to fulfill a certain agenda. So that said, I just wanted to put that out there from a meteorological standpoint. Yes, Hurricane Helene absolutely could happen the way it did. It could behave the way that it did. It's all within the laws of meteorology. For example, the storm held hurricane strength into the state of Georgia. It accelerated before landfall. It was a strengthening storm. When storms are strengthening, they're accelerating. They hold together longer than most storms do. And then when it reaches Appalachia, there's something known as orographic lifting. So when air lifts, it condenses, it rains out. So that's why higher elevations get more rain than lower elevations. Now, all that said, there's the other side of the argument. Well, how is it that this area of the Appalachians that just happen to have all the crystals and the lithium and all that. And now they're, and I don't, I mean, a lot of the sources you get on social media, they're unconfirmed, but there's unconfirmed stories about what's the place called Castle Rock, about the government moving in and telling all the residents that they have to leave, and then mining operations are starting. So, you know, there's definitely things going on. And then we can look into everything else. There's Bill Gates and BlackRock, that they just happen to buy all the farming land that's above a certain elevation for some reason. And then you can look around the world and understand that, yeah, there is an agenda to seize power and to seize control. And that's money. You know, money is power and control in this world. So connecting the dots is not that hard to figure out. Follow the money, follow the corrupt flow of power. You have at least a good ballpark estimate of what's going on and what their plans are. So anyways, so there's that. There's the elections that are coming up, all kinds of stuff. So October is a rip-roaring month. This week is very powerful. Again, we're starting out. We're getting the coronal mass ejection from the two solar flares. One was an X 9.05, I think, the stronger one, which was the second strongest, I think, in the century so far. So there's a lot. Appalachia, Hawaii. So MDR is filling that in. And yeah, I was thinking about Lahaina, and before that there was in Texas, or maybe Texas was after that, with the forest fires there, and in Mexico. And before that, there was a suspicious California fire. Before that, there was the Canadian fires. And I looked at, and that was the summer before last. And I was looking, it was very hard to find weather data. Usually I can find weather data for anything. It was very hard to find that, but I found that. And lo and behold, the satellite in Eastern Canada was clear. There were no clouds. So I mean, yeah, there could have been a few isolated thunderstorms, but to set off 200 fires when the satellite imagery isn't showing a lot of rain and clouds. I mean, there's definitely things that are going on. So why am I saying this? Have a balanced perspective. We can get very triggered by our emotions, and there are fictitious conspiracy theories that are designed to hijack our emotions and polarize us further. So we have to be aware of that. Some of these things that are going around, there's those forces that control both parties, the left and the right. You know, I'm more concerned with what's going on than the bird that owns the right and the left wing, rather than just the wings themselves. So, you know, we've got to stay in our hearts. When we're truly in our hearts, then we know the truth. It's easier said than done, because it's very easy to get pulled back into our emotion. But understand, the programming is designed to hijack emotion. Just like the little girl holding the dog. You guys see that meme? Somebody made a lot of money through that AI generated image, playing on our emotions, basically. You know, just seeing the sad girl crying, holding the dog, and there's floods all around. And then somebody's cleaning up, because I think they get an AdSense for every click that these memes get. Totally AI generated. So understand that we're really being manipulated. Your best defense is to stay in your heart. I'm a broken record. I know that every Sunday, same message. But that is the message. Hearts cannot be programmed. When you're in your heart, you're not affected by outside programming. You're not affected by this emotional programming control out there, basically. There's plenty of real images of horror and destruction from this hurricane, that they don't have to do all the AI stuff and get people to click on, because it's very sad, obviously. So just understand, your emotions are being manipulated. The more in your heart you are, the more resistant you are to that. And if we get too emotional over things, then we're not in our power anymore. We've surrendered our power to whatever forces are creating these emotions within us, basically. So be the observer, right? we have emotions. That's a good thing. Most people can't feel their emotions in totality because they've been so traumatized through childhood and through the society that they don't feel anymore. So part of the spiritual awakening process, you start to begin to feel again, and that stops people from advancing further, because what happens, these emotional traumas need to rise to the surface in order to bubble out, and you need to feel it in order to be able to release it. Basically, nobody wants to feel that, so they suppress it. They don't follow through. It's like, I can't meditate, I get anxious, or whatever it is. It's like, yeah, you get anxious because when a suppressed trauma starts to rise to the surface, you're going to feel anxiety over it. You got to breathe through that stuff. So anyway, this time, if you're here and you're a spiritual warrior, that you're here to promote peace, because that's what spiritual warriors do. It's not about war. It's about being impeccable. Yeah, it's about being able to wage greater war in order to maintain the peace. But that's not what it's about. The warrior was the one that was honored. When you look at the warriors in history, or in civilizations from thousands upon thousands of years ago, they were the brave ones. They were impeccable. They were honorable. Basically, it has a different meaning now. It's not warmongering, basically. So be spiritual warriors. Be in your hearts. That's my message. Let's do some tarot. Let me see, what are you guys saying here? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's absolutely real images. There's real things going on. And so the image, an example of how AI can be used to manipulate, more frightening than the background of the image itself. Yeah. Um, and the thing about AI that I've noticed, when I see an AI, I mean, I may not catch all of them, but they look too perfect, for one, until you really go over with a microscope, because the nature of technology is everything's going to have a flaw. There's going to be a flaw in everything. So another reason not to, when they try to get people to what's the right word, not trans, I can't even think of the word, but to be basically have technology inside of you, interface with technology. Understand there's always a flaw in technology. So and that one of those images that I saw somebody, they brought in a close up of the girl's hand, and one of the fingers was not attached to the hand. It was like a separate finger, and then another one, the person had 6 fingers. There's always going to be a flaw, in other words. But to me, it looks holographic, and it looks too perfect, and it just feels creepy. And that's usually how I know when it's AI. So anyway, yeah, it just 30, now there's 37 in chat. Yeah, it just seemed like that was something that needed to be said. Yeah. See what you guys are saying here. Yeah, guys, and obviously in Western Florida, Tampa area, obviously heads up. I don't think you need me to tell you there's another hurricane brewing. And there are all about these thousands of people that may not be able to vote in this election here in North Carolina. Interesting. So I'm should be a little bit more up on politics, because I'm not comfortable talking about it, because I'm more concerned, like I said before, like of the bird. It's like the right wing and the left wing are controlled by the same forces from where I'm sitting, basically. And I don't believe any of it, right wing or left wing, far right. I don't believe any of it. I listen to it all and consider it all, but right now, I don't believe in. Ask me next week, I might believe it, because I might have learned more in that time, and then I might have believed something. So it's fine to admit that you don't know. That's how you learn. When you want to know, or you want to be a know-it-all, or think that you cut yourself off from learning. So it's fine to admit that I don't know. It's like I'm not in the weather modification control room. I don't know if Helene was modified or not. I believe that it was. I believe that a lot of these events were, but I don't know that. So we have to remember that that's how we stay in our power, basically. Don't believe something because other people believe it, and it's cool to believe that, basically. Anyway, Hurricane Milton, yeah. It's interesting. Hurricane Farce, yeah. So I'm looking at your guys' comments. Could affect New York. That's something I posted yesterday on social media. Right now, the models take it out to sea after it crosses Florida, but if it were to make a turn, that's wouldn't happen for another almost a week. So weather models are imperfect, even an hour in advance, much less weeks in advance. So they've gotten pretty good. So the best example of Apollo is not a bird, but a marionette. That's a good example too. Yeah. Hi there, Millie. Transhumanism. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Transhumanism. Thank you for that. All right. All right. So I think we get the point. So the message is: stay in your heart, stay in your power, be aware. Learn about everything. Let's not stick our head in our sand. Let's not be make this an exercise in toxic positivity and pretend, oh yeah, everything's just beautiful. I'm just going to think good thoughts and everything's going to be okay. Understand that we're part of a collective, and the collective is deeply programmed. So when you're in your heart, you can be truly positive, if that makes sense. Not toxic positivity. I think that's the term, anyways. Hurricane Sandy was around 2012, and why is that significant? Well, partly because that was 2012 was leading up to a solar peak. We're in the solar peak now into early 2025. Part of the same Hydra. All right, I like that. You can talk about consciousness affects weather, by the way. I was just on Facebook telling somebody about my story with the last ice storm, which was not last winter, the winter before. Here in Phoenicia, New York. Phoenicia is a bowl-shaped valley. Valleys hold in the cold, basically. So you expect in a mountain valley for ice storms to be worse, but guess what? Here in Phoenicia, there was just a very, very thin glaze. You go up the mountain a mile or two, down the mountain a mile or two, west mile to east a mile or two, trees were down, power was out. It wasn't a huge ice storm but everybody lost power but us, except when they had to restore the lines, and they shut everybody off on the line. So they shut us off for an hour. So in Hurricane Sandy is another example. We were in a wind max where I was in this dry hurricane. The way the mountains were shaped, and where I lived in near Kerhonkson, we had 80-mile-an-hour gusts. I was upstairs doing my drums and working with the weather, visualizing, opening my heart, working with the wind and stuff like that. The arborist came the next day. We had 6 trees down, huge branches all around the house. He walked around the house and he said, I don't understand how your house was not hit. That's impossible. No, we the weather is us. It's part of consciousness. We're the weather, basically. Yes, there's weather modification, but there's also a lot of stress in the collective, and there's a lot of stress in the weather, basically. And then of course there's the man-made part with the hydrocarbons and the methane and everything. That's part of it too, but that's not the greater part. The greater part's consciousness, and the greater part is the long-term cycles rather than these very short-term cycles. That's correctable. Anyhow, are we ready to do a little tarot now that we've been on for 20 minutes? Yes, I think we are. Hi, Janice. Welcome. Yeah, so Hurricane Sandy was in late October. It was called the Halloween storm by some, or the Frankenstein storm. And it hit here, I think, October 29th, I believe. There was an interesting storm. If you want to talk about weather modification, that would be a good case study there. It wound up being a hurricane inside of a larger system, and the Appalachians got 3 feet of snow out of it. And of course, New York City flooded out, and here we didn't get any rain. We just got winds and everything was down. If we had gotten rain, it would have been a lot worse, because that weakens the root systems and more trees would have been down. Yeah, exactly. Let's keep prayers for Florida. Western Florida's really gone through a lot, and even though Helena wasn't a direct hit on Tampa, there was quite a storm surge there, and enough. It was close enough for squalls to do damage. I'll put it that way. So yes, prayers for Laura and everybody in Florida. We'll see what happens with that. So moving right along, let's look into our yeah, it's chilly here. My hands are cold, and that's why I'm going like this. Like, my hands are cold. It's chilly. So it's frosty this morning. We didn't have a frost, but we were around 40 this morning here. All right. This is our meditation card. I need to clear my mind. Okay. No, not getting it yet. Sorry. Hold on a second. Okay, I got it now. Thank you. I like this. This is a nice card. This is almost like a coming home card. So maybe in this week's meditation is, where is your home? Is it in this world? Is it in another star system? Is it in another dimension? Home is where the heart is, right? And heart is where the home is. And the Four of Wands, it's often a marriage or a wedding card if it comes up in the spread, because it almost looks like a wedding, right, in a way. And there's looks like a little castle or something on top of a butte. I think that's called a butte, right? So it's out in the desert. So to me, it's also 1111, right? Like, this card is 1111, right? There's 111. It's an opposite on StreamYard, another 11. Then this is the portal. So when you do the meditation, maybe, whenever we meditate with cards, like any other meditation, you get very present and open. So we're not thinking, we're just being. And once you're very present, then in your mind, you step in the card. If you have your own deck, you pull out your Four of Wands or Four of Rods. This is the Morgan Greer deck. And set the intention to step through the portal, step in the middle, and start out with, what do you feel? What do you feel in your emotions, in your body, and in your energy when you step through the card? And then you may get met by guides or animal guides, or you may get feelings, or you may get impressions or messages. So it's good to do this every week. And Spirit saying that doing this exercise helps prepare you for the week. And some of you that are more, maybe, I don't want to say more advanced, but have those types of abilities or have been meditating longer, you may get some precognitions about things that are going on. And speaking of which, as soon as I said precognition, they were showing me money. So money, economy may be big in the news this week also. And I've seen like a lot of coins and stuff like that. I think, not limited to this week, but I think we're going to hear more push about trying to eliminate currency and trying to digitalize everything. So maybe some more news around that. Now, in my October forecast, which is interesting, I just got October the 6th. I didn't know what it meant. That's today's October the 6th. I just feel like something's going to happen on October the 6th. Well, the day's young, but that could be October the 16th also, or maybe even the 26th. But we'll see if anything earth-shattering happens today. Oh, interesting, Melly. Thank you. So let me, before I go into the 3 cards spread, we've got a lot of people in this community that have YouTube channels. Millie is one of them. It does a lot of nature, kind of capturing messages in nature, which is beautiful. Krista volunteers another one. Of course, Mr. Floyd's Universe does the channeling work with Archangel Raphael, Saint Germain, and others, who has a very thriving channel right now. Good job there. And who else has channels? Children's School of Yoga does for her yoga and astrology practice. If I'm missing you and you have a channel, shout it out on the comments for us also. And incidentally, if you guys want, I could, when I have time, which is not always easy to come by, I could write something out for you guys, for YouTube strategies and how you might help, what might help you grow your channels also. I'll think about that, and if I do, I'll send it to Josh, aka Mr. Floyd's Universe. Could I have his email, and then he can send it to you guys? Because I'm finding Josh to be an amazing community organizer, basically. So I'll just send it to him. He'll take care of it for us. Oh, this I did not know, although now that you're saying this, somebody, either you or somebody told me that last week or the week before that she has a channel also. So I'm going to look for that as well. So thank you for that as well. So here we go. 4 of Wands, Mr. Floyd's Universe. That's good. Yeah. Oh, sure. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been on up 4.5 years now, and I got the vision, I got the message after I told Spirit that they're crazy. If you ever see me on camera, I decided to reprogram my mind so I could do this. And it's slow and steady wins the race, right, Josh? It's like 4.5 years, slow and steady. No viral videos ever. Although my last live stream hit about 8,000 views, but that's still not viral. 100,000 views is viral. 1 million views is viral. So nothing like that. Just been steady increase, and we're at what, 14,000 something subscribers. I can't keep, after 10,000. I can't keep track. And no, I'm not bragging. I'm inspiring. Just to be clear about that. And yeah, you guys can absolutely do the same thing. So I learned a lot. I watched a lot of videos. I didn't pay for any courses, but I did what I could. Then when I got out there, I realized it works differently in the real world than it does what the YouTube gurus are telling us. So I made my modifications, but the bottom line is the better you are, the more likely you are to grow. That's the one thing. Metrics are great, knowing about SEO, knowing how to show up in the feeds, all that, obviously helpful. But the bottom line is the better you are, and better doesn't mean like polished on camera. I'm not polished on camera. It doesn't mean that. It just means being really good with your information, being interesting, providing a reason for people to want to watch you, basically, and perseverance, right? Josh is the master of perseverance. I see what you do. It's like, good job. Yeah, it's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off, you guys. Yeah, step by step, right? One day at a time. Exactly. And thank you for that, also, Josh. Let me do um, 3-card spread. But by the way, 14,000 subscribers is still relatively small by YouTube standards. I think you're no longer a small channel and you hit 10,000, but it's still, look at the people that have 1 million plus subscribers. So it's a process, yes. And it's not about the end game. Enjoy the journey, right? Have a vision, but enjoy every step in the journey. Stay present in the journey. That's where the magic is. Yeah. All right. So clearing my mind. So this would be our 3-card spread. Oh, you guys are feeling those solar flares, huh? CMEs. It's like I was, after work yesterday, Going home. I timed it. I was ready to go to the reservoir, but I just wasn't feeling it. There's a forecast that we were going to see northern lights. In this latitude, you'd have to look pretty far to the north, but we'd be able to see it. I just wasn't feeling it, and then when I looked at the models, it was way up by Hudson Bay. You could probably see it from the Adirondacks. In fact, I saw something on Facebook of somebody on Lake Ontario, and they could see just hints of color on the northern horizon, which means that basically 1,000 miles away. Uh, Tonight, maybe right after sunset, maybe. But anyway, we'll see. All right. So let me see, what cards do we pull here? This is really interesting the way this comes out, because you've got like kind of these two cards that are very difficult around this really happy card, the Sun card. Um, and I think in part this is a spiritual message that if you're able to let things go, not to hold on to things, um, that's where you're going to be happy. And I think by being able to clear the past, you're going to be able to attract more things in your life that are happy. For some it's a relationship, for some it's a new job, for some it's just your own spiritual knowledge or whatever. Very, very important stuff. But you can let go, but you don't embrace first. That's the key. You hear a lot in spirituality, let this go, let that go, or whatever. But you can't do it until you embrace the experience. Because a lot of us have been abused, as children. A lot of us have a lot of trauma that we're holding on to. The frequencies are getting so high. A lot of us are being called into our initiation or coming to our next level, but you can't take the baggage with you. You can't transcend into higher frequencies if you've got lower frequency baggage around you. Forgiveness is such a huge part of that. Such a huge part. Like I often say, I'll forgive, but I won't forget. And I've had, some of you know the story, so I'm not going to go into the whole story, but I've had situation of losing jobs, people accusing me of stealing, like horrendous things, and then 20 years later, this example, that person finds me on Facebook, wants to be friends, and I go wrote back and said, "Look, this is what happened. It really hurt me, um, but all's forgiven if I get a sincere apology." And I got that, and all was forgiven. And now we talk. Basically, some of my friends were like, "How do you forget that person?" Basically, it's like, well, if you're more of a Christian mindset, he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." And that poor dude was hanging from a freaking cross with nails in him. So there you have it. I'm not big on this whole like he died for our sins and all that stuff. I love the Bible. Yeah, I'm very careful not to polarize around here. You probably noticed that about me. I even read from the Bible. I have an old Bible laying around. I'll read from it sometime, but at the same time, I'm aware of human programming. I'm aware of the agendas. I'm aware of the translations, and I'm aware of the manipulation. You can change one word in a paragraph and change the whole meaning of that paragraph. The media does it all the time. So there's an agenda behind organized religion. And to me, organized religion is an organized mess. But that said, I still love the teachings, the pure teachings that survives, if that makes any sense. So anyway, but you cannot release what you don't embrace first. So you have to be able to do that. So I hope that makes sense, because we're all being called upon to do that in some level or another. And these cards are saying that. Do we want happiness? Well, happiness can't exist without sadness, right? That's part of a duality. So we can joy cannot exist without pain. It's just part of what is. We cannot be afraid to feel. We have to change our relationship with pain, right? And that's something that I've been able to do, which is why I'm talking about it. And people that knew me from the past will see the difference. I'm not sickly anymore. I'm not timid anymore. I'm the same, but I'm not the same, if that makes sense, right? So joy and pain, sunshine and rain, exactly, Millie. Yeah, you're so big. I'll never be so big for you guys. Yeah, I promise that. Never, never would happen. And MDR, it is who you get subscribing. Hit the 1 million. Good point. Yeah, it's quality, not quantity. That's an excellent point, MDR. For the YouTubers, quality. I got a lot of subscribers early on that weren't quality subscribers. They weren't mean or anything. I would just I watched a lot of videos. I'd comment on them. Some people liked what I was saying. They'd subscribe to my channel. Never watch a video. I might as well not have those subscribers, right? Because they're not doing me any good. It's just a number. That's ego, basically. Oh, I got 100,000 subscribers. That's doesn't matter. It's like the quality. Good point there. So anyhow, what else is it saying? I just think this is the beginning of the next phase of the unfoldment of the truth, of the unveiling of that which has been hidden by the media or those that control the media. I think this is going to translate because what's happening in the macro happens in the micro. So what's happening in the world at large is going to be a reflection in your life. So expect one or two people to maybe lay some truth bombs on you, or if not that you gain some insight about somebody. I think for some of you, you had an instinct to end a friendship or a relationship, and people would have called you crazy or gaslighted you or whatever. Then weeks or months later, you start to learn the truth that that person was absolutely negative or out to hurt you or hurt somebody else or whatever. So I think this is a time, because we're in the dark season now. We're kind of the Samhain season or the Halloween season, where the veils are thin, where the shadows are very active, where we get to really dig deeper inside of ourselves and pull out some of the gunk, basically. So I think this is really the time to look at what don't you want anymore, basically. It's like, and everything, that we create in our lives. I mean, granted, there's a collective consciousness that creates a lot of our reality also. But that said, a lot of it is really what we're suppressing and holding inside. And just because something's subconscious doesn't mean it loses its energy field. It just means it goes deeper and we're not aware of it, but it attracts situations in our life that match the suppressed traumas. So it just feels like we're able to get a deeper look into that. And it happens by not trying to suppress your feelings, but rather observing them, not suppressing your reactions, but observing them. This is what Joe Dispenza tells us all the time, right? For those of you that follow him, like myself, don't try to suppress your emotions. You have better luck, suppressing a cannonball like that's about to land on your head by sticking your hand up, right? I decided to use a different metaphor than the train metaphor today. But point being is that you can't stop what you're feeling. Why would you even want to? Basically, it's like, oh, that's a bad feeling. I'm not going to have it anymore. Every feeling has a story, right? There's a message. And if we're able to step back and observe how we react to others and observe how we react to the world, we're observing our programming in action. You can't change your program if you don't know what your programming is. So if you get angry, don't try to not be angry. I mean, my poor neighbors, but although she swears she doesn't hear me, but I don't know how she does. If I get frustrated, I'll yell. I'll let it out right then and there, and then it's gone, basically. But it's conscious yelling. It's not out of control yelling. I step back and observe myself being a raving lunatic rather than just being a raving lunatic. So anyway, a lot of letting go. This is a bound card. This is what we're coming into the week on. We're meant to, us as this community, we're meant to look at what's holding us back in life, not who's holding us back, but what in here is holding us back. This is a time to release these ropes, to not get handcuffed anymore. And these swords represent our anxieties, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and these things that are drilling in our head keep us in a fear or an anger or a lack mentality, and we're not getting anything done in our lives. So this is a time to really step back in this, deepening energy, and really, open the heart. When we open the heart, then we can actually release what it is that's blocking us. And I like the sun card in the middle. We all have the opportunity to be happy. It's like, so you have a lousy or crummy job. Well, try to feel happy in between the moments where you're being tortured at your work, and focus on that and make that more your what's the right word, more your focus. Basically, it's like what Wayne Dyer, the famous Wayne Dyer quote, that energy flows where attention goes. So try to think more about the good. Sometimes you have to ventilate, right? So it's fine to talk about what you're feeling, or get angry, or feel those emotions, but with the intent of releasing, not with the intent of burying somebody, some poor soul with all of your stories, basically. But that's the key to it, is being conscious of and being the observer of what you're feeling. And then, once you find that balance and visualize like you're happy, your job is good, or your life is good, or whatever. Do that every day, and then when you least expect it, that's when the breakthrough comes. That's when you get that aha moment where you understand, oh, this is my life purpose. This is why I've had to do this for so many years, or whatever. And it's like the example, like somebody, we get a lot of white asses on YouTube, right? A lot of trolls or whatever. So I love, when people are like, well, if you're psychic, why didn't you win the lottery, or why didn't you do that? And I say, well, there's two times, I never won $1 million, obviously, but there's two times that I can remember that I got the numbers and that they won. They weren't big winnings, but one of them paid for like all my recordings and everything. It was actually nice. That was about, I don't know, 11 or 12 years ago. But I wasn't trying to get the numbers. They just came to me, basically. If I try to get the numbers, I'm not going to get crap, basically. If I sit there and try to get the numbers, it's not going to get crap. But it just came, and that's basically it. If you're always trying to, what's my life purpose, what's my life purpose, well, you're blocking the ability for spirit to give you your life purpose, because you're putting want and need out there. And when you put want and need out there, you're telling the universe you don't have, so you continue to attract that level of lack. So rather you be present in your day, you be grateful for the money you're making, or whatever it is. You find the good, you find the good in the challenging, the yin and the yang, so to speak. Keep meditating, keeping your heart open. And then one day when you don't expect it, that aha moment's going to come in for you, basically. So that's the message I get for you guys. I think also we're going to catch wind around, not necessarily in the news, but around the grapevine, of more like-minded people, and people that believe what we do, but they're really doing a lot more, like, in the world. I mean, we're doing a lot in the world also, but doing more like of that practical work, like going out to the communities, helping to rebuild, helping, some people may be given to a peaceful protesting or whatever. So we all have our jobs basically in this new and evolving earth, but keep the, this is the center card. This is the heart card. Remember, we are the sun. We are the light, and we hold the light of spirit, of God, truth, whatever you want to call it. And a lot of people, because you're here, especially those of you that come regularly, that you are holders of the truth, and more people are going to be looking to you for answers, and you'll be telling them, well, I'm just the light, like in one of Bruce Lee's movies, when he says something about about the finger, this finger's pointing to the moon, but don't focus on the finger, you'll miss out on all that heavenly glory, basically. So it's like, you focus, not anyway, I think you understand that metaphor. I've got plenty of more work to do here. You are. It's all right. I'm just looking at your. Yeah, I know that this had to be relevant for some of you. Yeah, I'll post this one. My son, he doesn't with what I believe. Yeah, yeah. So prayers to you and everybody that's going through a lot. We're trying to heal. We're trying to clear. It's a hard world. And most of us are empaths. We feel things very deeply. It's a hard world to live in, and that's why I have to stay in my heart. And it's almost like I have to do something to help people, like what I'm doing on YouTube, because I'll go to pieces if I think about what's going on too much. And I think it happened a few times, but I think it was more like last year or early in 2024. I'm thinking 2022, 2023, when the master teachers are coming through and saying, look, you guys, you're going to see more pain and suffering in the world than you've ever seen in the years to come. And, you've got to be ready for that. We can't go to pieces. I believe that we're in the greatest of times, and that the direction we're going is going to be amazing. But the transition, it's hard. But I always remember, and maybe my mediumship training really comes in handy here, because when the spirits come in, I can have a spirit come in. They had 10 years of cancer. They had all kinds of pain, unthinkable things happening. Then when they die, they say, basically, when I died, I woke up. It's like the pain never even happened. It wasn't even real, basically. Pains of the mind, basically. It's just something's wrong, something's out of balance, something's blocked, and and the mind experiences that as pain, but we can transcend pain, basically. I had to do that, or I never would have healed from chronic eczema. It's itching, but it might as well be pain. It's along the same lines. So anyways, let me pull a Native American card. It was such a roll that we're going really long. See, we're up to 50 people. So in my long explanation, I haven't lost too many people, so that's kind of cool. Exactly, yeah. Suffering, exactly right. And the pains of the world is very different. It is extremely, and staying in the heart, but acknowledge your feelings. Exactly. You'll be near Phoenicia next Sunday. Listen to you, Maryland. Oh, that's good. Yeah. So I could walk to the village from here where I live. Yeah, so anyways, I'd like to keep you guys in the conversation, but all right. So anyways, thank you. All right, so this is a Native American tarot. The Lovers. And then we have the Sun card. Who's falling in love, or rising in love, I should say. Or duly, I like that. Duly appreciated. Yeah. It's kind of like, and why am I going to fight dualism if I live in a dualistic three-dimensional world? This is our classroom. This is what we're meant to transcend into the unified field beyond the duality. And then Anderson, I was just going to say, been dealing with a lot myself, overwhelmed. So a good push through energy would be great. So prayers for push through energy for you and everybody that needs it. So the Lovers, and one of it's almost like it almost looks like a courting ritual, right? In a way, one of them's kind of playing the flute or whatever she's playing, and the other one's kind of looking. Sometimes the Lovers cards comes up when there's choices. It could be literal. It's Gemini energy also in the regular tarot. Let me see what else we can see about that. It almost feels like the figure playing the flute or whatever instrument it has. It's almost kind of like trying to get the person's attention to follow them, but it feels like more of a spiritual thing. And it almost feels like the message is, you're feeling that love for spirit the way you might for your lover, if you happen to have one, or an ex-lover, if you ever experience that feeling, just being so in love that the rest of the world just doesn't exist anymore, basically. And understanding that the connection with the divine is like 10 times more powerful than that even. But it's really when we connect with another through that sense of being in love with the person, we're really, it's the divine in me connecting with the divine in you, and we're raising our energy to feel these amazing emotions, basically. Oh, you saw two bucks fighting. Wow. Yeah. Oh, a hand. It could be a hand fasting. Yeah, that's a good observation. Yeah. Um, very good. So I mean, there's different traditions of hand fasting, but basically it acknowledges the karmic ties. It's not till death do us part, because it's a recognition that death doesn't do us part, basically. But anyway, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, I think, for the Wiccans, neo-pagans, or people that work with earth-based religions, or I don't know if that's the right terminology, like the Native Americans or the South Americans or the Aboriginals and all that good stuff. So anyways, moving right along, let's see. So I have the Isis Oracle in front of me, so I'll pull from that one next. Well, thank you, everybody. Yes, for everybody that's saying thank yous, I thank you. And thank you all for being here, being part of our community. I'm getting better. I'm trying to lick my fingers off camera. What did we get here? Rising sun, and we got the sun card earlier. So sun, and maybe we will get some more corona. I think there's going to be maybe later in October or November. I think there's going to be a bigger solar flare than this one, and I think we're really going to see the northern lights. I didn't see it in May. That was the big show. It was cloudy here. Just like just like a month earlier, it was cloudy when I went all the way to Western New York to see the eclipse. Basically, Spirit's kind of laughing and saying, "Yeah, well, that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen." Yeah, I know, but I would have liked to have seen it. My human self, my ego, would have liked that experience. Anyway, but then they're saying, but there'll be others. You'll appreciate it more next. All right. So maybe later in the month or November, we'll get another Aurora Borealis show. So rising sun, the divine solar children reborn, rebirth. That's self-explanatory. I don't think I need to go any further than that. I think a lot of us in the weeks and months to come, I mean, technically, this is a forecast for the week, but it extends beyond that. I think our suns are going to be rising. We're gonna be very illuminated, have spiritual awakenings, epiphanies, and realizations, and all that stuff. And I think it's a spirit's way of saying, when things are at their darkest, that's when we see the first light of dawn, and the sun will rise. So no matter what happens in the next few months, understand that we're in a process that it's an evolutionary process. Thank you, Marie. And oh my goodness, I love you guys with your super stickers. You're the best. And basically, so I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So oh yes, I love Josh's channeling also. You can catch that on Mr. Floyd's universe. Yes. So I have the sacred geometry. So we'll ask for the frequency of the week. Anybody who wants? Oh, thank you, Suzette. Oh, you guys are just too generous. We're coming up to Thanksgiving too, right? The season of the giveaway in the Native American tradition, or the potlatch. So give with our heart, just like when I gave the shaman from Machu Picchu my favorite smoky quartz crystal that had the angels in it. I told him, this is my, I want you to have this. He led a whole weekend seminar, a whole weekend retreat for us. And this is like giving something really valuable of myself to somebody else just because I honored them and wanted them to have that. He looked at it and he looked at me and he said, do you mind if I use this to do healings for you? And I was like, and mind you, this is at the time, he was the chief shaman at Machu Picchu. And I was like, no, I don't think I'd mind that at all. Thank you very much. And it just shows when you really give, you're not for any intention to receive anything, but just really give from your heart. The universe is going to give back to you, basically. And one of the reasons heart-brain coherence and working with gratitude is so powerful is because when we feel grateful, it's because we receive something, and the universe, God, spirit, or source is the ultimate giver. So we match the frequency of the ultimate giver, and it's gratitude's called the master frequency for that reason. I would too, and that's going down to Machu Picchu. Now, this was a Washuma ceremony, so it involved the San Pedro. It's a plant medicine, and it's a weekend, so we did it twice that weekend, and then we did the despacho. The despacho ceremony. Gazpacho's a soup. Despacho's a Peruvian ceremony of gratitude and thanks. So we did that also. I want to go down to Machu Picchu. That's on my bucket list. The Northern Isles of England. Cause I had a past life where my father used to take me to the Northern Isles. I also had polio and I think rheumatic fever in that lifetime. That's a whole other story. And I want to go back there in this lifetime. In Australia too. That's for my 70th birthday. Australia for the solar eclipse that's going to be in the outback in August of 2028. You guys want to mark your calendars? We'll go together. That'll be my 70th birthday for myself. All right, so frequency. What's the frequency, Candace? I can't resist. And our frequency synergy, we haven't gotten this one for a while, but this is a good card. Everything's connected, right? You know, the sun, the moon, the earth, the stars. So the frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that that new yet exciting co-creation can give birth to a new reality. So you kind of get that, also through this just gazing in the middle and absorbing the sacred geometry here. But yeah, again, this is something I've learned from Joe Dispenza and others. All the really good law of attraction people would say the same thing. It's like, once you really align to a frequency and you're there and you're vibrating that's when you open up to all these synchronicities. Like the universe almost conspires to create what it is that you wanted, what you wanted in the first place. So, and I believe that that's the foundation of it. Then the action, you have to act to attract, right? That's a big byline. Is that the right expression? But if you just really become the vibration, you attract to you. That's why it's a law of attraction. You attract it to you, and then you know what you need to do in the earth in order to see that through. So they're very interrelated, but the idea is to be that light, be that vibration, be that energy, what you want to create. And synergy, synergy is like you get two or more energies, they phase into one energy. That to me, that's what part of what synergy means. So if I'm talking to you, basically my energy field is affecting your energy or my universe, using Saint Germain terminology for channel from Mr. Floyd. that my universe and your universe are connecting. So my universe is influencing your universe, and your universe is influencing my universe. Also, you can look up quantum entanglement if you want that take on the phenomena of synergy. Also, yeah, the plant medicines. I'm those days are pretty much done for me. Also, but they definitely served a good purpose. Or just a couple more because it's kind of late, right? We've already been an hour, so I've got 3 more. So I've got that I'll do today. So I've got Angels and Ancestors Oracle from Kyle Gray. So get a message here. No. Yeah, and if Laura, if someday she may that I did a psilocybin journey not that long ago, which I hadn't done for quite a while. It was on my birthday actually, and it was cold. I was in the mountains. It was like in the 40s up there, which any of you that have taken mushrooms know that you're very sensitive to the cold, but these were especially good. My friend in Arizona cultivated them, gifted me them. And for a mushroom journey, I don't think I've ever felt them more strongly. You can see the sacred geometry, all the faces around you, the spirits, all the nature stuff. And I saw a snake and a hawk on that journey also. So that's kind of cool. So I can't say I'm completely done because every now and then I may go into those energies, but usually when I'm done at the end of the day, it's like, well, I can go into deep meditation and get a similar, not the same, but similar effects also. And it's even more profound sometimes. It has its place, not for everybody. That's what I have to say about plant medicines or psychedelics. Definitely has its place, not for everybody. And take that a step further. It's a tool. A tool can be used or abused. So that's the other side of it. All right, so we got Shield Maiden, and this is make plans and focus. We had her one time before. I think we had Shield Maiden. Also, it may just be a reminder because we're talking about being hard, opening, connecting, or whatever. I think this is coming up partly as a reminder that we still have to understand that the general public is generally crazy. That's why when people like the trolls on YouTube, say weirdo or whatever, I'll answer back, say, "Oh, thank you. That's a badge of honor. I'd rather be weird in a society that's inherently sick than normal." So you can take normal, you can take normal and shove it. I don't need it anymore. But I think it's reminding, we still need to have our energetic shielding, because especially if you're teachers and there's an agenda from the deep state or the cabal or whatever you want to call it. There is a system in place that wants to control us and wants to take the power from us and give it to them, basically. So if you're out there teaching, there's those that are programmed that want to shut you down and want to tear you down and want to attack you. It's just part of life. So remember your energetic shielding also. I think that's part of it. And this because Doreen studies with Kyle. She has the meanings, yeah. So someone who has it together, make plans, and it's the Joan of Arc card, and we know Joan of Arc very very much. And and that's interesting because this could be a statement on the divine feminine also, that we're coming into the era where we're balancing the patriarchal with more divine feminine energy, and women are coming more and more into their power, and men coming more into their power when they embrace their divine feminine also. And she's got like the blue, so there's blue streaks around her right eye, basically. So all the symbolism means something, right? But that's the Joan of Arc card. I like that. Yeah. spiritual warriorship. We started talking about that also. So medicine cards, quickly. What is our totem animal for the week? And saying, love Joan of Arc. My youngest has Joan as a, oh, love that. And Lamar, who knows a thing or two about the educational system. Yes, the head of the snake for the corrupt is the funding. So, thank you. Thank you for that. And we put our prayers out there. It's about humanity waking up. And once that 100th monkey is reached, those in power are going to lose their power, basically. It's a master teachers declared in mid-later 2022, they declared the light is one. It was a channeling. Some of you might remember that. And then they said it a few other times, but then they caution us, say, just because the light's one doesn't mean that the problems are going to go away. The dark's not going to give up easily. So the battles may get more intense, but it's going to work out in the end. It's going to happen. So what's happening out there is a reflection of what's in here. Work with these internal battles. The more people who do that, the more it's going to ease the transition, that there won't be as much external battle. And yeah, you might think I'm one of billions, but you're still one. you are still one, whether you're one of one or one of billions, you're still one, and your one matters and affects all the other universes within this multiverse, our collective consciousness. Clearing mind. So what am I seeing? Am I seeing a raccoon or? Well, it's what I'm seeing in my mind, not what's coming up in the cards. Because I love dolphins, basically. I think that represents mana, like breath, energy. But I always look at dolphins, both creativity and intelligence, because dolphins are very, very intelligent, right? We just don't understand the language of the sea, but a dolphin can, or a whale for that matter, can echo a sound underwater that can travel hundreds of miles, 1,000 miles. And the marine life, especially the marine mammals, are really having to adapt because they're always hearing like the boats, right? The ship's engines. The ship's engine carries 1,000 miles in the water, and some of you may know that. And some people are pushing for for quieter engines, because I think it affects the whales' migrations and everything. But dolphin speaks to us of the breath of life. So yes, mana is the right one. So remember to breathe, everybody. Do your long, deep breathing, inhaling love and light, circulate that around, exhaling, releasing stuck energy of the world, other people, other systems. Do your yoga. We do yoga every other month. We have a playlist of about, a lot of yoga classes that Doreen of Children's School of Yoga has taught us, basically. So we have yoga right here. Find the playlist, or go and take a yoga class, or just do some long, deep breathing, or qigong, martial arts. It's all good stuff. But breath is life. Remember that. You can go, days without water. The sun dancers go 4 days without water. Your doctor will tell you can't go more than 3 days without water. We can go weeks without food, but you can't go more than a few minutes without breath. Basically, breath is the link with the universe. You change your style of breathing, you change your relationship with the universe and the cosmos. It really is that simple. We're complicated. It really is that simple. Breath, everybody, breathe. Don't forget to breathe. All right. Last but not least, we've got from Doreen Virtue's former incarnation in the same physical body, we have her messages from the angel cards. I don't think you can buy these in stores anymore. Some of you know the story. feel like Spirit's saying, I feel like Spirit's like, well, now, that's just part of her evolution. Don't judge. Okay, I won't. And the card that I pulled is Mystique, and what it says is keep charging ahead and don't take no for an answer. Expect miraculous solutions to appear. I think one of my greatest traits is that I'm stubborn as heck. But that's being determined also. It's like I could get knocked down once. I'll lick the wound, I'll get up, I'll charge again. I can get knocked down again. Get up, flick the wounds, keep charging ahead. So they're just saying a lot of times you can be so close to what it is that you're trying to create or what you're trying to do. And it gets so hard that that's like the final test. If you don't give up, then it's going to happen. I think it's saying that a lot of you are very, very close to realizing either your dream or at least the next level of your dream. And don't give up if things get hot and heavy or hard now. And that's what I got for you guys. So I don't think I'm doing any live streams this week until next Sunday, until we get closer to the full moon, which is another big energy. Yeah, unless something comes up. So not a lot there. We do have the retreat coming up. It may or may not happen. I thought it was going to fill up quickly. Nobody signed up for it, so I have about a week. If nobody signed up, then I'll postpone it. But if you want to do a mediumship and channeling retreat in the Catskills, let us know. If I've got enough deposits by Friday to go. If not, I'll postpone it. But that's going on. Second and fourth Wednesday of the month, we have free practice circles for mediums, student mediums, practicing mediums on Zoom. So there'll be information up on the chats, on the posts, as well as on other social media. So we're doing that this Wednesday. What else? There's something else I can't think of right now. Sure, as soon as I end, I'll think about it. That's usually how it works. But it's on Zoom, yeah. So Tuesday night you can catch Laura doing who's here on the chat, so we can catch that. God, there's something else that I can't think of. Oh dear. Yeah, that. Oh yeah. Spirit Mind Family. So it's Spirit of Halloween month, and that's our Patreon group. So if you want to dive deeper into this, do deeper channeling work and energy frequency work with us, and get exclusive videos, content, meditation, and all that stuff. That's on Patreon. It's well, to get the good stuff, it's $5 a month. You can join free and keep up with the posts, but to get the meditations, the channeling, just $5 a month. Hundreds of dollars worth of value with that each month. So but I wanted to mention that because we're going to be doing a lot with mediumship channeling, but it's the spirit of Halloween. So we'll talk a little bit about witches, Wicca, neo-paganism, Native Americans, maybe El Dia de los Muertos, all those holidays that celebrate death as the true new beginning of life, basically, and celebrate the cycles. So thank you, everybody. Did I mention your channel, Chris? If not, check out Chris the Volunteer. He also has a YouTube channel. Yeah, I think I was on a roll today, right? I love Halloween too. Yeah, absolutely. And enjoy your day, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Yes. Lots of love. Okay, I'm ending stream now. I'll do this. Marina book 101. Yeah, no, she has a lot of good stuff. She has a lot of good. And yeah, thank you for everybody that's subbing to the different channels that are connected to this channel. We thank you, and thank you also, Jody, also for reminding us. All right. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Wait. What do we do? Okay. And thank you, Josh, for that. Have a blessed day, everyone. And you too, Doreen. Thank you. Namaste. And stay safe, everybody in Florida. You have our prayers. Love you.